Okay, good afternoon, everyone. As introduced, my name is Lex Bryan Bangot, and I'm a full stack engineer at Confide. Um, I've been programming Python for more than a decade. It's my main programming language. I co-founded two Python communities in Northern Mindanao, specifically in Bukidnon and Iligan City. But I'm currently into um, building a community around QA. So if you're interested, connect with me because we have free workshops and free online workshops on revolving around test engineering or testing. I'm sorry if I don't have a PowerPoint presentation that good. I'm using a PDF and I'm kind of low tech when it comes to this sort of thing. Not dig deep into this module or this field, but I will help you write your own or write your first um, test case. By the way, who among you here are developers? Developers. Okay. QA. QA. What about the others? Students? Okay. No students. Okay. So thank you for joining this workshop, and I hope you will enjoy and learn this afternoon. So we will cover setup, writing feature files, and writing stat files, of course, running the test. Again, this is 101, so this is basic in behave. Why end-to-end test? Because it evaluates the entire flow of an application. If you're a developer, you already write your unit test, integration test, and then why end-to-end test? And this is something that QAs are doing. Most of them are doing it manually. They write test cases, they test, click the button, and enter a password or something, enter character into a field. So yeah, so that's end-to-end test. So in my previous jobs, I noticed that we didn't have a QA, but the QA part of the application is integrated inside the development lifecycle. So as developers, we're writing our own test cases. Um, the project managers or the product owners write test cases, and then the developers write the implementation of those test cases, or we call it feature files and behavior. So actually, this is why as devs, QA is supposed to be for QA, and developers should write code. Why am I pushed to write QA task when I'm a developer? But if you are a developer, you should know how to test your code. You should know how to break your code, and that's one of the factors of being a good developer. If you know and you cover all those in Tagalog butas in your code. Because for example, in Confide, um, I am the lead engineer in Confide, and most of the developments are being done by a company outsourced somewhere in the Philippines. So we hired the company to develop the application for us. And of course, we do the QA, and I write test cases, automate, and contribute to the code. And then there's this feature in Confide where um, you upload your voice, and since it's a whistleblowing platform, so it should be, or it's mandatory that the case manager or the company that you are whistleblowing wouldn't know your voice, of course, right? And when I test the that feature, what I did was I recorded my voice. Uh, the application, how do you call that one? You distort the voice. So the application distorted the voice, so somehow it's not the nuances of the voice can't be traced right. But then I downloaded it as a case manager, and then I edited it on an audio software, and somehow I was able to reconstruct or deconstruct the voice and uh, pointed out the tone, the nuances, and of course you can pinpoint who the whistleblower is. So if you're a developer who's not thinking like that, then of course there will be a lot of bugs in your system. That's why I'm advocating as a developer that the QA part should somehow be part of the developer's day-to-day job. But that doesn't mean the QA will be uh, the QA job will be drained somehow. But that means QA should be automated. The testing should be automated. So what is BDD, or behavior-driven development? It is an agile development technique that encourages collaboration between developers, QA, and non-technical or business participants. So if you are a project manager, a product owner, you can write test cases and then let the developers or the QA develop or implement those test cases. And you will see that as we go along. And for this workshop, we'll be using Behave, Python Behave, and Selenium. But I will not discuss or dig deep into Selenium. I'll just focus on Behave. So this is the folder structure of Behave. You have your feature file, you have the steps file, or this is the Python implementation of the test cases. And later I will show you what those feature files look like. And then of course the Python code. So this is the feature file. So notice this is a feature file for login. It says there as a user, I want to be able to log in so that I can access my account. Background, I am logged out. So here we have, I've written 3 test scenarios, and you can, during the workshop, you can expound it. You can add your own implementations, or you can add your own test cases. So this is just a demo. Successful login. Says you're given, I am on the login page. So that's pretty much understandable, right? And that's something that even an elementary student can write. So this is a test case. Given that I am on the login page, this is how you log in. When I enter my username and password, and I click the login button, then I should go to my task. And later I'll show you that one. And same with invalid login. I'm on a login page, enter invalid password. So this is how a feature file looks like. And in some companies, the product owners, project managers, write this type of test cases, and the developers write the implementation of this. Okay, scenario outline. So in Behave, we have scenario outlines. This is for those repetitive tasks. Somehow it's a loop. For example, you want to test that all the characters should be accepted by the password field. You will test the comma, test the semicolon, etc., and you will do it here with using the scenario outline. What it will do is it will just loop through those examples, the test. So this is a step file. This is a common step. If you remember the folder structure, there is a feature file and a step file. But I've also written a common step. This is for those steps that can be reused by other step files. For example, going to a page. If you're in a registration step file, you just focus on those that are really for registration. And so going to a page, like going to a particular page, is something that should be um, should be managed or controlled by the common or common step or common functions. So that way, these steps or these implementations can be used all over. For example, this one, I am on a particular page, and then the browser goes to this particular page. I entered a text in the text field, and then um, I think this is I went behave sends a keys or type in into that field. I click a button, so it's just one implementation, and you can reuse it everywhere. Okay, next, context that execute. So in behave, you can call other feature files inside a step file. And why would you do that? For example, this one, I entered a valid registration. I'll just show you the code for this. This is under register step. Right. So here, I don't know. I think this is under login. Login dot feature. Okay. So anyway, I'll just my focus here is on why do you have or why do you need to access a feature file inside a step file. And for example, for this case, this one is I entered a valid registration detail. Um, so that you don't have to specify in register feature this one. I enter valid registration detail so that you don't have to specify that. You need to enter uh, those characters into a particular field here in a feature file. You can actually write like one scenario where you enter a valid registration and then it's being specified inside the register step. So here, when I enter this particular character into a username field, enter blah 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 and blah blah blah. So that's the use of context that execute steps. And I will also discuss uh, why I have this particular code later. So again, this is an informal um, setup, meaning you can ask questions anytime. You can raise your hands if you want to clarify, and we can interact. It's a workshop. So that's context execute steps. Okay, running the test. Just check. So in running the test for behave, it is very simple. You just type behave. And it will run the test. So now it's currently running all the feature files or all the test cases that I've written. And you will get this particular report. If you have a PyCon professional PyCon subscription, there's a there's a really good plugin, or they have a really good reporting for this one. And unfortunately, I am using PyCharm for community because it's free. Sure. We have a microphone. I think it's being used with the camera. So maybe we can just yeah, you can, so you can sit down. We can get the microphone. Okay.
Hi. Okay. Just a question from my end. Probably curiosity side. Why they behave compared with other automation testing framework like Selenium or Robot or something?
This is behave and selenium. This is
It's behave in Selenium. Okay.
So why behave? And there are other frameworks like Cypress,
Yeah.
like other projects. Maybe because this is the first end-to-end test that I've used. Um, this was introduced to me by one of the maintainers of Blast when yeah when we worked together. So yeah, I think that's the main reason, and I like it because you can actually embed or you can uh, put your code inside your repository since it's Python, right? Unlike Cypress that it's JavaScript, TypeScript, and
And then probably with if you're familiar with Robot framework, it's
no, no.
basically Python.
Python. So it's more of a preference. Maybe in the future I'll explore that one as well. I'll be organizing a community for QA. It's an online, and maybe one of you can introduce that one. Thank you. Okay. So any questions so far? None. So we can move on to writing the test. Um, who among you here are on Discord? PythonPH Discord channel. Okay. So by the way, since this is on the hands-on part, uh, you can also take a break, and we will be setting up your environment so that you can write your first test and behave. You can go to for this test. This is a prerequisite. You can go to this. Um, you can go to this URL, and I'll be posting this one. I'll just post this one on our Discord channel. And if you're not on that particular channel, maybe you should join so that it's easy to just copy and paste the URL. I don't know how we can invite you here. Anybody from the volunteers? Everyone is invited. Okay. So check your email. Email maybe. So why am I sharing these links? The repository is the one that I worked on. So you can just grab it and copy it. And then that is the base URL of the application. By the way, I'm using this application. I uh, I did not write this one. I just found it on the internet, and for this demo sake. So just um at the back, can you see this one or not? Because we can move the screen here if you want to.
Uh, hang on po. We already asked one of our team to contact the mod for you to join the track 3 channel in our Discord.
So if you've already downloaded or cloned the repository, you can install it, and this is um, that is the command. If you need help, just raise your hand. I'll be roaming around and help you. That Discord channel, maybe just or our own channel, just go to announcement channel and then click the link. It's here, so just follow that. This one. Okay. By the way, how can we invite them to the channel? I think it's a different to this particular sub channel. Because I think dalawa pala. They have the scenarios given. I mean um, they have given, when, and then. So this particular one scenario is just a title for that particular test case. So this is a test case title or test case name. Given is something like, in natural language, given that I am on a login page, so that's given. When I do something, that's how a QA tests the application, and click the login button. Actually, and is just nesting. When you want to nest the uh, when this when scenario or something, and then is the conclusion. What happens after you click the login? And in our step file, in login steps, it's here. It's not login, it's in commons. So in commons, if you notice, the implementation of the when, this is the implementation of the when. This is the portion in the feature file. I click the what's the name what the text button, and then of course the implementation of that step function. Anybody so far having a problem with the setup? So that is na yung add tasks is not working. So you can try to write dun sa registration a part or other parts um, of the application. There's one thing that I'd like to point out. No, the importance of using context. For example, in a login, let me open my feature file. In a login, here. So in an end-to-end test, in a login, a user should already be registered, correct? But this is a login feature. So that's why we need to the test for the login is a user must already be registered, and of course go to the login page, enter the username and password, and that's the login. But the problem is if you have a static login credentials, and it will have a problem with the registration if you're going to test it. And the reason why I'm using context is for me to store the dynamic data that I'm going to use or I'm going to use for registration. For example, in this case, I have a data for user which has username and all the information of a user. And I'm going back here to the feature file. It says here, given that I am a registered user. So that means I've already registered. And of course, I have to implement it. So it's here. The implementation is given that I am a registered user. Of course, the steps for that is here. So given I am on the registration page, when I enter the valid registration details, discussed this one a while ago, and then click the sign up button. And here I enter the valid registration implementation. I have a utils file that generates these random strings, and of course just store it in the context. So with this, you don't have to worry that your database will have a conflict when it comes to account creation. But the bad thing is the database will get bloated. And by the way, if you're using Django, there is a behave for Django, and also I think it utilizes the test framework of Django. So every time you run your behave test, it will create an arbitrary database and destroy it after running the test. So you don't get bloated. Okay, so we can, by the way, I'll just continue my slides. And after this, we can continue with the workshop. So if you want to connect, you can just add me on LinkedIn. In the future, we'll have workshops on this particular field. We'll workshop as well on Cypress, CI/CD, and everything that's related to test engineering. So thank you very much and good afternoon. By the way, we can continue with the workshop if I'm still be here until 5 5:20 something if you want to continue with the bootcamp. Thank you guys.